quick start again. I'm sorry about that. There was a technical problem here. So I do want to welcome you to the three keys to creating passive income and global impact by having other people market and teach your programs. You're going to learn to leverage your programs and expertise to become global thought leaders. I have a couple of items I'd like to mention before we begin. At the upper left side of your screen, you're going to notice a Q&A box. Please use this to ask any questions that you have during the presentation. You'll also have lots of time to answer all the questions that you have at the end of the program. So today, what you're going to discover is the simple 5-step process for turning your programs and expertise into licensed content that other people will market and teach. This is the key to passive recurring income. You'll learn how to get the right people excited about becoming your brand ambassadors and paying you for the opportunity to teach your program. You'll learn 3 reasons that most people fail to have their program accredited by organizations such as the International Coach Federation. And you'll also have lots of time to ask me questions about your specific program. I'm Sheila Paxton, founder of Program Certification Formula. You could say that I'm a serial entrepreneur, instructional designer, and executive coach. I've got firsthand experience developing my own certification program and getting it accredited by the International Coach Federation, but more about that later. I've worked with scores of people just like you who believe that having a program that is marketed and taught by others is the ultimate leverage of their expertise. Now, the reason I invited you here today is that my mission is to support you to leverage your programs, which will turn you into a global thought leader. So, what do I mean when I talk about you becoming a global thought leader? Well, there are 7 signs that indicate whether you are a global thought leader. Listen to those and see which apply to you. The first sign is that you're tired of things you taught in the past. You've got programs that you've shelved just because you're a little bit bored of them, which leads into the number 2 sign is that you're constantly thinking about developing new solutions for your clients. You're committed to helping them achieve higher and higher levels of transformation. The third sign is that you're interested in making a big impact and reaching a lot of people. That's the reason you became a coach, isn't it? To help people improve their lives in some important way. The fourth sign is that you see mistakes that people are making because they don't know how to do things differently. It's frustrating to you to not be able to reach masses of people to share your message of hope and change. The fifth sign is that you could talk about your topic for hours on end. It inspires you and you know you're making a difference. The sixth sign is that you see people copying your concept. You're the one that has the vision of what people need and how you find other people who try to imitate your vision. The seventh sign is that people come to you to learn advanced concepts. You're seen as the expert in your field, and others want to know how they can do what you do. So let's think about that for a second. If you identified with 2 or more traits, I would say that you're on your way to becoming a global thought leader. If you have 5, then you're almost there. And if you have all of these, you've arrived. So if you don't have all of these 7 signs, I want to talk to you today about how you're going to be able to become a global thought leader by leveraging your programs and have other people teach and market them. So again, if you have any questions as I'm going through the content, please mark those in the Q&A section. And you can also enter comments into the chat, but it's much easier for us to find in the Q&A section. So let's springboard then into the 3 keys that I talked about when I invited you into this program. These are the necessary ingredients to leverage your program and become that global thought leader. The first key is to streamline and reorganize your program. So what do I mean about that? Well, there are a number of steps involved with that, but in order to fully leverage your program, you have to have a systemized approach that is replicable time and time again. That your program needs to be so well spelled out that anyone who is properly trained by you and certified by you would be able to replicate the results in clients, to be able to have clients achieve the same results that your clients achieved when you first started with the program. Now, you know that if another coach simply follows your approach when they're teaching their clients, if you have added the necessary components to your program, then all of the transformations and the promises will be achieved. So that leads me then to my next thought, which is your program, the program that you're going to certify others in, has to have clear transformations. And let me explain that just a little bit to you. In the program that I work with in clients to leverage their own programs, the transformation is that a person will go from being a successful coach to being a globally recognized coach. And this is through certifying their programs and through licensing other people to use their contents and their genius. So the clear transformations then go throughout my program, and step by step, my clients can see that in each module I teach, there's a very clear transformation. And the reason that I need to do that is for myself as an instructional designer, is to make sure that I've built in the application activities that people need to achieve the transformations. A lot of programs that are out there, you'll see, focus a lot on learning, on what a person's going to know. But in order to be a transformational program, we have to focus on what a person's going to be able to do. What is the transformation that they will have? And then as you're developing each of your modules, or for you, as you're going back and reviewing your current program, do you have points in every single module where people apply the information through activities or games that you have or simulations so that they are able to actually achieve the doing, the ability to work with their clients to achieve those transformations? Now, some time ago, before I started working with my current program certification formula and developing that, I developed a proprietary relationship process, coaching process that was called Fit for Love. And I worked with singles to help them stop picking relationships that didn't work for them and to begin creating value-based relationships. Now, my promise for that program was that if you attended the classes, completed the homework, and participated in the suggested activities, you would have all of the skills and tools to attract and keep true love. Now, the transformation was that you would stop getting involved in relationships that don't work, and that you would be able to attract relationships that have sustainability. Now, throughout the program, every module had practice activities that people needed to go after they had taken one of the modules and to go outside and practice, to practice smiling at people, to learn how to open themselves up to eye contact and to just general contact with people, to be able to learn the values that they have so that they could practice them with other people. All along the way, all of your activities are what leads to transformation. So looking at each component of your program and making sure that you have the application activities, that people, that it's very clear how clients, what they must do to practice and to apply to be able to achieve what it is that you've promised them they would achieve. Once you've done that, then you're going to also map out your content to focus on performance. Because when you pull out the performance goals of your program, you can use these in your marketing, and you will use these to be able to show a potential coach that wants to be certified in your program specifically how they will accomplish the behavior change, the transformation that they have to become a coach that's ready to be certified in your particular program. So the promises then that you have are important, and the restructuring to make sure that you're looking at performance-based is that, and you're going to have mapped that content so specifically, and you're going to look to see, are you really successfully taking your coach trainee from point A, where they know nothing about your program, to point B, where they have the confidence and competence to teach your program? That's what we're looking for when you do this content reorganization. Is the path of learning and the path of doing clear between point A and point B? And do you know that in every module of your program, you have these point A to point Bs? A person starts not knowing this particular piece of content, and you want them to end up being able to actually perform what you talked about in relaying the knowledge and the how-tos of your program. Now, once these components are in place, your next step is to organize your program on 2 levels. And what I mean by that is the first level addresses the client's experience and the client's transformations. So when you have that, let's say all on the left side of a piece of planning paper that you use, on the right side, matched to each one of the client's modules, you're going to have what the coach needs to know and what the coach needs to be able to do to be able to successfully work with them on your program, using your program materials. So you have the client perspective and you have the coach perspective. And it's important for you to be able to step back and look at your program from both of those vantage points. You have to make sure that you are working with your coaches in the program on the competencies, the skills, and the tools that they're going to be able to, that they will need to be able to work with their clients. So program revisions was our first basic component. Now, once you've completed the program revisions, targeting the coaches you're training, you're ready to dive into what it takes to license your content and earn passive revenue. You will need to develop legal and binding agreements for your coach trainees, spelling out the licensing specifics, protecting your copyright, and for them to pay a fee for the rights to use all of your program content and materials in their work. Protecting your intellectual property is one of the most important things I can talk to you about. This is, at least in my business, my intellectual property is my #1 asset. I protect that by having copyrights at the bottoms of every page that's on my website. And if I have a specific tool, trademarking and copywriting that too. On all of my forms that clients work with, there are copyrights and the necessary information that is needed to protect your intellectual property. Now, when I work with clients, I have templates that I use to help them with that, because when I first started doing that, had to get the help of a staff of attorneys, copyright attorneys, and to really make sure that I wasn't exposed to losing the right to have sole copyright unless I gave it to, with specific instructions, another person, like my coaches. We could talk about copywriting all day, but I just wanted to really plant that seed. You're going to get passive income by licensing your programs for a specific period of times once your coach is certified with you. And to have that and to keep that stream of passive revenue, it's going to be really important to focus on the legal issues around your materials. Now, with those reorganizing steps complete, you're going to be able to apply for accreditation from the International Coach Federation, and you'll be able to give continuing coach education credits to the coaches that participate in your program. Now, there are a number of tremendous benefits by this, like being able to increase your credibility because you can use the ICF logo on your website. It gives you access to the entire ICF membership group, which is approximately 40,000 coaches, because you're going to be listed in the course catalog, and you have access to market to ICF members through posting your events on the ICF calendar. The International Coach Federation application is quite daunting. I was very lucky to have my program accredited the first time through, but that's because of my instructional design expertise. Actually, the person who headed the review committee for my program said that it was rare for a person to get accreditation first time through. And I want to let you know that so far, and I'm going to knock a little bit of wood here, that I've had a 100% success in working with my clients once we have completed the necessary steps that ICF requires to get their programs accredited, 100%, which is something I've been really, really thrilled about. So we've talked about then key number one, which is the reorganizing of your materials and the streamlining of your program. Key number two is all about finding the right people for you to certify and deliver your program. In order to find the right people, you have to first release 2 beliefs that you may be holding on to. Not that you are holding on to, but you might be holding on to. And I found this with many of the clients that I've worked with. The first is that no one could teach your program as well as you. Well, I was really surprised by that, because when people started teaching the Fit for Love program, my certified coaches, and I listened in on some of those sessions, I was amazed at the individualization that came along with it, that the experience, that the personalized stories that the coaches were able to put in some cases really exceeded my capabilities. And it was something that I became really proud of, to have people who are better than I was at teaching the content. The second belief that you might have is that the coaches that you train might steal your information. And that goes back to protecting our intellectual property. And you know, no matter how careful we are, that sometimes happens. And I want to let you know that I support my clients to be as careful as they can. And if somebody decides that they're going to steal the program, then I wish them well, because the implementation is not going to be the same as though I was there. I haven't found, though, in reality, that this happens very often. I found that the integrity of the coaches I work with is pretty tremendous. And I also screen the applicants to my coach certification program to make sure that they hold the same kinds of values that I hold in terms of the kind of work they do and how they work. So in order then to find those right people, the first place to look for coaches that you can train and certify in your program is to look at the niche that you serve or a related market. So I, with program certification formula, serve a niche of coaches. So I'm going to look to other people who serve coaches, who have people that are successful coaches as part of my strategy to reach out to them, perhaps through doing joint ventures, which is another whole topic that I promise we'll talk about in the future. When you're looking for coaches, you need to have eligibility requirements for them. What experience do you want them to have before coming in? In the Fit for Love certified coaching, I required that people have a minimum of 2 years in doing relationship coaching before they could enter my program. So you'll want to set any licenses you want them to hold, the experience levels you want them to have before you go recruiting your coach participants. You're also going to want to set the certification requirements, because when I'm enrolling a coach to become certified in my process, they need to know what it's going to take up front for them to be certified, for them to get the certification. So you lay out all of the requirements, such as attendance at all the classes, participation in the workshop labs, submitting the activities, weekly activities, whatever that is, you want to have that built in. In the Fit for Love coach certification, we required that people attend all the classes, but if they couldn't attend live, they needed to listen to the recording, and then they needed to submit a quick summary that showed the ahas they got from that recording. They also needed to attend all the labs and working with their colleagues. They needed to work with one pro bono client through the entire Fit for Love process, and then to be interviewed by our team before they were awarded certification. And I told the trainees up front that this is what would be required in the program, so they knew going in what the expectations were. So let's assume then that you've worked on your content, you've found the right people, and you've given them the specifics of what is required to be certified and to start working with clients in your program. We're going to transition then to the third key. And that third key is handing the program off. So what do I mean by that? It means just letting go now and let the process of certifying new coaches to teach your content and to license your content, let that begin. So what are the steps going to be then for you to make sure that your coaches are prepared? Well, the first goes back to what I talked about when I mentioned performance-based training. And you're going to want to make sure that it's along the way you can measure whether your coaches are reaching the proficiencies you need them to reach. You're going to also measure your coach trainee's competence in coaching your program. So if a person needs to have tremendous listening skills, active listening skills, giving feedback, being able to develop an atmosphere of trust and intimacy, to be able to focus on setting new goals and directions. Whatever the competencies are, these need to be built into your programs. When I'm working with clients, I make sure the competencies are developed right up front, because as you're applying to the International Coach Federation, they want to make sure that you're including the competencies that the International Coach Federation requires. So we take care of that by building it in right up front into your training. So you are measuring competence then, and you are doing the training. When a person then shows that they're proficient, they will sign an agreement, some kind of licensing agreement, some kind of document that you have that they are going to be licensing, your content, your material, possibly access to your website. There's a fee for that. The fee can range, it's huge ranges in what people charge for annual fees for being able to have access to their content and tools. But what you'll do is you'll at least work out an agreement with them that, as I said, goes over a specific period of time. Normally, the agreement is annual, and most of the trainers, the coaches that I've worked with in developing their own certification programs, have a monthly option, so people can pay monthly rather than just making that one annual payment. So the accreditation point and the accreditation component is really then what will follow in your overall approach to get your program really ready to rock and roll. And there is a step-by-step formula that I take people through that breaks down that wall of, oh my gosh, this is a tough application, to make it step-by-step simple to fill out. But you can, you have access to those applications through the International Coach Federation website. And then I want you to think about what are all of the branded materials that you want to provide your certified coaches with. So you'll probably want them to have a logo of yours that shows them that they are a certified coach, that they can put on their website, that has a link back to your website. And guess what? That gives you better Google rankings because you're having additional link backs coming from many different areas from each of the coaches that you've certified. In terms of materials, I want to make sure that my coaches have all of the assessments I use that are downloadable and are also automatically, electronically able to be completed. And those can be designed through programs like Adobe Acrobat, so that you can take a form, a document that you've done in a program such as Word, and turn it automatically into a program that people can fill in, an assessment form that people can fill in online. You'll want to have templates that your coaches can use for their marketing letters, perhaps. I include templates for the workbook, the client workbook that a coach wants to use. I include templates for the licensing agreement. So what templates and tools do you need to give so that your coaches have all of the tools that they need to be successful? So take a step back for a moment then. Now, I don't know why each one of you showed up here today. There's different reasons for each one of you being here. But some of the reasons could be because you're frustrated over not having multiple sources of passive income, that you have big things that you want to accomplish, that you want to have a greater reach and impact, and you're not sure how. And you're seeing that your colleagues are becoming global thought leaders and you don't want to fall behind. So let's look at the passive income frustration. This is the number one reason that people don't generate passive income and have global impact is that they don't act like global thought leaders who stick to their expertise. They don't think about the big picture, and they don't hire experts to quickly help them implement new initiatives. So if you envision yourself as a global thought leader that you identified at the start of our program today, then you are sticking to your expertise, you are thinking about the big picture, and you are hiring the right experts to get you going quickly. Since I'm on a mission to empower as many global thought leaders as possible, I've systematized the process of fully leveraging your program to accomplish what we talked about at the very beginning, which is to leverage your intellectual property, to have other people market and teach your programs, to receive passive income from all of the hard work that you've done. The name of this process is Program Certification Formula. where I personally assure you that you have all the keys available to you in an easy to implement program. I help you streamline and organize your content. I help you to find the right people, and I help you to hand the program off to your new certified coaches. This saves you the expense and effort to research how to accomplish these steps and implement them seamlessly. The expense that I went through when I was certifying people to be fit for love coaches. I want to talk to you then for just a couple of minutes about what program certification gives you. The program certification formula program gives you the exact system to exponentially grow your business, gives you the step-by-step approach to make your existing program even more impactful. It gives you the tools to ensure that all participants complete and excel with your program. You'll have the exact process for packaging your program in a manner that's compelling to the coaches you want to certify. You'll walk away with the essential skills to identify your target market, test your marketing message, find potential participants, and license your content. You'll have the definitive guide to submitting your program to the International Coach Federation and receive their accreditation. And you'll have a dynamic implementation plan to complete your own certification program. We deliver program certification formula in 8 live sessions over a 16-week period. But each week, we also have office hours, which I'll tell you about in just a couple of minutes. In the 8 live sessions, we focus on certification issues and we work with your individual programs. We limit the number of people that can be in any class so that I can give personalized attention to each person. We have weekly office hours, and you're able to not only participate in these during the 16 weeks of our work together, but ongoing once you've completed the program. The office hours take place once a week for a 2-hour period of time where people who are currently members of a certification program class and are former members that haven't yet submitted their program for accreditation to come ask your specific questions. We do screen sharing, and we talk about what you need. We work on names, etc. And you'll find that the synergies from having colleagues on these office hour sessions with you is just tremendous. You'll get ongoing support from our organization until you have completed your accreditation application. It doesn't matter how long it takes for you to complete it. Of course, we're going to want you to complete it within that 16-week time period. And for most people, that's doable. But if not, don't worry. We're not going to abandon you. You will always continue to have access to the office hours and to our team via email. Now, in the experience of program certification formula, there are some specifics that I'd like to talk to you about, and that is that each module has a pre-recorded video presenting the content and methodology, and you'll receive that 2 days before the live interactive implementation sessions that you have. So the modules consist of the general approach, how you have outstanding program design, how to structure and organize your specific program, how you can develop learning and application hooks that make sure that people stay with your program. You'll learn how to leverage this new certification program. You'll also understand how to fill your seats and with new clients to fill your calendars with getting these new people to certify. And then you'll learn how to get your programs accredited in detail and then to formally certify all of your teachers in our process. Now, program certification formula is supported on a state-of-the-art learning platform where you have private access to the following materials that you can access at any time. You'll get all the session recordings, tools and resources to simplify your certification program development. You'll get examples of other people's successful certification programs, and we give you samples of winning International Coach Federation accreditation applications. So by now you might be wondering, how much is something like this going to cost? Program certification formula is valued at $39.97, yet I only charged $19.97 because I wanted to be affordable for anyone who's interested in leveraging their business. I also offer a 4-pay option of $547 for each payment. In case you're on the fence, let me tell you about the bonuses that we include with program certification formula. You get unlimited email support. You'll have access to the weekly office hours, which assure that you complete your program. You get step-by-step templates and resources. You'll be part of a Facebook private group. You'll have a personal review by one of the members of my team of your ICF application to make sure that it's going to be accredited the first time through. And I'm offering a fast action bonus for the first 10 people who enroll. And that fast action bonus, again, it's limited to the first 10 people, is to have 3 private 1-hour one-on-one sessions with me, where it's one-on-one, roll up our sleeves, take a look at your exact content, and I give you feedback step by step along the way. So there's 3 of them that you'd have access to. You'll also receive complimentary enrollment in a new, very special program that has been developed. It's a 4-session program called the Program Certification Master Class, and it guides you step by step through every part of the International Coach Federation application process. So before I tell you exactly how to get to our link to get more information or to enroll in the program, I want to open it up to questions that you might have. Any questions, things that I can look at in your specific program, or things you might like to talk about. So on the top left side, you'll notice that there is a space for you to put in Q&As, and I am taking questions right now. So let's see what we have. The first question is, what if I feel like when I start, I'm over my head in terms of what I'm doing? Well, don't worry about that. Lots of people have felt in the first couple of sessions that, oh my gosh, this is confusing. But I have that promise, remember, that I give you the skills, the tools, the support, the encouragement that you need to do that very special program restructuring and to make sure that it makes sense to you. You know, your success is my success. Let's see what else we have here. So how specifically is, the question came in, how specifically is the coach found, and how do you do your appeals to find coaches to certify? And that, the process for that is that we'll take a look at your niche, and during our classes, our live classes together, I give each person suggestions for places they can go, for colleagues that they can develop relationships with that are working with the kinds of clients that you want to certify. So that's really built into part of our program. One question just came in, what if we don't want ICF accreditation. That is no problem at all, because you will still have a program then, because it's been designed to be accredited by a very kind of an organization that has very high standards. You're going to have the best program that you'll have. And I do have clients that I've worked with that have wanted accreditation through other organizations, such as the American Association of Massage Therapists, such as educational organizations in particular states. If that is a request of yours, then we give you the process to find those accrediting bodies, and then we'll help you walk through their applications rather than the ICF application. So, great question. Other questions that we have, perhaps now? Well, if you think of questions too as you're going through the program that you're going through and perhaps revisiting this program, you can also submit an email to me to clarify your question. Oh, another one's come in. How many people have gone through this program? And absolutely, there's been 54 people who have gone through the program, and I have an 80% completion rate. Now, if you look at the completion rate of other online programs, that normally is running less than 25%. So 25% of people who sign up for a program ever finish it. And my percentage is 80%. And it's because of the involvement, it's fun, and it's really stimulating for people to step by step take their programs to that next level. So that was a great question to ask. I appreciate that. You know, I am here, as I said, to answer all of the questions that you have. It can be here or it can be through contacting me. But I want to take you to, and I'm going to enter this right now, to the page where you can get more information and you can actually enroll. I'm just a little teeny writing here to program. So you're going to go to www.programcertificationformula, all one word, .com/enroll, ENROLL. And I'm posting that right now, and you'll see that in your chat box. If you go to programcertificationformula.com/enroll, and let me make sure all of that is correct. Yes, it is. Go to that. You can click on that to have access to the complete information of everything you receive in Program Certification Formula, and to also get answers to some frequently asked questions. And there is a spot where you can enroll. Now, I hope that you have seen the benefits of certifying other people to teach your programs and licensing your materials, what that can do for you as a business person. I know for my Fit for Love process, it made all the difference in the world, because I could only get my important message out to so many people. And to be able to leverage this was a game changer for me. As a matter of fact, it was leveraging this that led into me providing this service for people just like you. Because as people saw me doing this in our industry and that I was certifying other coaches, they started asking me, how did I do this? Well, the answer was simple, because I was an instructional designer and I could develop a certification program. I realized, though, that there was a need in the coaching industry, and I developed this process, Program Certification Formula, to fill that need so that you wouldn't have to go through the expense and the time that it took me to develop my own certification program. So again, to be able to join us, just click on programcertificationformula.com/enroll. enroll, and that will get you more information. It has been a pleasure to be able to chat with you today. And again, programcertificationformula.com/enroll. I thank you so much for being a part of this. And I will look forward, I hope, to connecting with you or seeing you in class very soon.